Hey there, welcome. My name is Alonda Carter and I am the Recovering Hunbot. Today we are going to check out a Ponzi scheme that has come and gone in record time. It's called Metafi Yielders. Metafi Yielders was a high yield investment program, or HYPE. These programs are unregistered investments typically run by unlicensed individuals, and they are often frauds. The hallmark of a HYPE scam is the promise of incredible returns at little or no risk to the investor. To support my channel, I just ask that you watch this video to the end and give it a thumbs up. If you have time, please leave a comment so that more people have a chance to view this video. And now let's go ahead and get to the topic at hand. Metafi Yielders was billed as being a cryptocurrency lending platform where you deposit your cryptocurrency on the platform and then choose one of their plans. These plans are said to provide a daily return of between 1 to 3.3% on your investment and pays you monthly. The website for Metafi Yielders was registered on March 16th of 2022 on GoDaddy. The website, though, no longer exists. This alone should be a signal that nothing was ever legit with this so-called company. And now there's a lot of noise on the internet that you can get a refund from whatever you invested in this company. But can you? Or is this just another scam? I would err on the side of caution. There are plenty of scammers out there just waiting for desperate investors to believe in another scheme disguised as helping you. Be cautious is my best advice. So who was behind Metafi Yielders? Well, this guy, Michael Dar, aka Michael Dar, aka Miko Nicholas, appears to be the face of Metafi Yielders as his Facebook profile suggested. He has since removed the CEO part and there are no available posts. However, his banner is of the Metafi Yielders logo. I could not locate a LinkedIn profile for this dude. In Behind MLM's review of Metafi Yielders, it is revealed that Michael Dar was a vlogger of sorts and a foodie. In 2015, Dar worked as a photographer. The YouTube channel that seems he had at one point is no longer visible on the platform. There is no report that he had any prior multi-level marketing experience at the corporate level. Whether or not he has ever been a brobot is undetermined. It is thought that our boy Miko, or Michael, or whatever name he goes by, was hired to play the role of the Metafi Yielders CEO. The only other possibility is that for some bizarre reason, one day he just decided to create his very own multi-level marketing company, which to me seems highly unlikely. People who create MLMs typically come from within the fold, meaning they have been distributors and they learned the MLM ropes, then either were forced out of said MLM or left for whatever reason, and boom, another MLM is birthed. Those who joined Metafi Yielders could only promote the affiliate membership as there was no retailable products or services. Initially, you could join for free, but to actually take part in the alleged income opportunity, you had to pony up an investment and pay either in US dollars, Tether, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Litecoin. There were two investment packages offered: Yield Farming Basics for $100, which was said to give you a 1% ROI in 30 days, which would be 130% total ROI. And there was Yield Farming Pro, which cost $2,500, and with that, you were told you would get 3.3% a day on your return in 42 days, and that would amount to 238.6% ROI. Now, don't those ROIs seem awful high? And if you said yes, then shouldn't that be an enormous red flag? The invested funds into Metafi Yielders were used to pay those who came in earlier, leaving the later investors out in the cold. Now, what the heck is this yield farming nonsense? Simply put, it is the process of using decentralized finance, or DeFi, to maximize return. Overall, users lend or borrow crypto on a DeFi platform and in return earn crypto back for their services. Yield farmers measure the return on annual percentage yields, or APY. Although there is potential to be very profitable, yield farming is very risky. In the case of Metafi Yielders, yield farming was the disguise to make it appear as if people were making money from the scheme. However, it only meant that the new investor money was used to pay those existing investors who were withdrawing money. Apparently, Metafi Yielder recruitment was a very big thing in the U.S., which means Metafi Yielders would be required to register with the Securities Exchange Commission, or SEC. However, the company was not registered with the SEC, nor was Mikkel or any of his other various names. On May 5th of 2022, Metafi Yielders introduced a new package that offered 4.2% daily ROI for those willing to invest $10,000 in Bitcoin for 30 days. Now, mind you, May 2nd was only 37 days since the initial launch of Metafi Yielders. This new package bumped up to the next time frame in which Metafi Yielders was to pay out the returns on the initial 30-day and the 42-day investment people made. In other words, they had to get more money from somewhere to pay off earlier investors. Offering this new package just has made matters worse for the securities fraud that Metafi Yielders committed. Not registering with financial regulators is a hallmark for investment Ponzi schemes. Note to self: avoid scams. Avoid Ponzi schemes. And if you are watching, you should avoid these too. I swear these scams are soap operas, because just days after there was an announcement of a new investor package that was to yield the 4.2% per day, which would allow current investors to roll over their funds into it, Metafi Yielders took a left turn by introducing withdrawal restrictions. And if you complained, well then, you faced termination. Nice, huh? On a phone call, Dar reportedly started playing the negativity card. And one thing that holds up from scam to scam, you must always maintain a positive mindset. Any sort of negativity is a big no-no. After all, complaining in a members group just increases negativity, and no scammer can have that. Negative members can exit stage left because we don't want you is the overall message. Now, one thing Dar started saying a few weeks prior was claiming he was doing some sort of transitional licensing within Canada, the UK, and Australia. But transitional licensing does not exist in the real world. In the real world, you are either registered to offer securities in a particular jurisdiction or you aren't. There's no gray area. No transitional registering. It's just black and white, period. At the time, the majority of investors into Metafi Yielders were from the US, which would mean the company would have needed to be registered with the SEC, as I've already said, and it was not. It is not. The bottom line, if you are getting people in the US to invest, then you must register with the SEC and file all the legally required audited financial reports. That's how it works. And you cannot just pretend that there is some magical transitional licensing you are doing in the meantime. And your filing needs to be in place prior to soliciting US residents. You don't get to backdate. Apparently, the changes made did not go over well because Dar then accused the investors wanting to withdraw funds of putting too much pressure on the support team and said that support tickets would now be answered in 24 to 48 hours. The only reason the new investment package came into existence was because Metafi Yielders needed cash flow to continue paying out the earlier investors. After the big announcement of the new investment package, the next day, May 6th of 2022, Metafi Yielders members began to report withdrawal problems. As of May 10th, withdrawal problems continued to be reported. And as of May 12th, requests put in to support were not answered. When the new 4.2% investment package was first introduced, there were roughly 1,500 of these positions. A few days later, Dar said there was another 700 positions. That's a total of $22 million, folks. And because support was run over with requests, the head of support dude, Joseph, quit and was replaced by a woman by the name of Maggie J. Babcock. By May 17th, Behind MLM reported Metafi Yielders to be collapsing. Dar came out and said that for the project to sustain, there were some changes that needed to be made for the next few weeks until they generated enough profits with the yield farming software and could make up the difference that was lost due to the recent market crash. These changes related to withdrawals. Investors were now limited to 2 withdrawals per day and were capped at $4,000. Furthermore, these withdrawals required manual approval, which were subjected to a 24 to 48-hour wait time. Additionally, investors were forbidden to pull out the funds they invested prior to the expiration date of the plan they purchased. After the crypto's OTC trading platform, or COTP, collapsed, Dar added insult to injury in late May by implying issues with Metafi Yielders would need to have changes made to the algorithm. According to Dar, Metafi Yielders was no longer taking additional deposits or withdrawals. This was a signal that the party was over. Withdrawals did not reopen until May 20th and were still subject to new restrictions imposed. At the beginning of June, Behind MLM announced that the Central Bank of Russia issued a pyramid fraud warning against Metafi Yielders. It is suspected that Michael Dar, the CEO, was hired by someone in Russia to play the part of CEO, and the real people behind the scheme are Russians. While Michael may be nothing more than a hired actor, nonetheless, he could be considered an accomplice to the overall scam. Overall, Metafi Yielders may fit the description of a Boris CEO Ponzi scheme, which are scams typically created by individuals in Russia or the Ukraine. By the beginning of June, all videos on the Metafi Yielders YouTube channel had been wiped out, and by mid-July, the channel did not exist. However, there is a channel called Metafi Yielders Official, but there is no information for contacting the channel owner. Additionally, it was reported that the official Telegram group was also deleted, and the company's Facebook group became no longer searchable. Dar also missed a scheduled webinar, but missed it and provided no explanation. Overall, it seems Dar went into hiding. By mid-June, it became evident that the Australian Securities Investment Commission, or ASIC, were not very pleased with Metafi Yielders. In a letter dated June 10th of 2022 from the ASIC, Metafi Yielders acknowledged investors were unable to withdraw their funds, and the company was told to remove any information online suggesting that it was licensed by the ASIC. In mid-June, the Metafi Yielders website was still up and thus violated the ASIC's demands. There are unverified reports that Dar has fled his home in Perth and possibly left Australia altogether. Metafi Yielders is over, and the exit scam portion complete with Dar's whereabouts unknown. Although he may not have been the person who dreamed up this scheme, Dar can still be held accountable for his part. And it would make sense that he told ASIC everything he knew about who was actually behind Metafi Yielders. Now that Metafi Yielders has collapsed, scammers claiming to be able to get you a refund are coming out of the woodworks. YouTubers are promoting the idea that you can get a refund, and some are including a link to a Google form for you to fill out to get said refund. A question you need to ask is, who is behind this Google form? If Metafi Yielders could give you a refund, they have your information. They don't need to collect it on a Google form. Overall, I see Metafi Yielders as an anatomy of an investment scam. 1. Find a frontman to play CEO. 2. Put out a high yield offer. 3. When it comes time to start paying out, create a new high yield offer. 4. Create restrictions around withdrawals. 5. Shut down the website and all social platforms. 6. Run off with the money. Then move on to the next scam. Rinse and repeat. So what do you think about Metafi Yielders? Did you invest? Have you been able to make a withdrawal? And if you've filled out the Google form, I'm sorry for your loss with Metafi Yielders and sorry that you were scammed a second time by a refund scammer. And remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. If the ROI is incredibly high, run away. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to stay vigilant and keep alert. And don't forget, you're beautiful and I love you.